Goodness me. Hello and welcome to the round 3 fan cams after the Blues painfully beat the Giants 9 goals 20-74 to 9 goals 10-64 in I don't even know what that was. I have no idea what that was. It was excruciating for the second half. So welcome to the fan cams, and I guess we'll try and make some sense of it. Whatever we will come up with, I don't know, but there are quite a few storylines and quite a bit to get through. So if you are new here, welcome to the fan cams. If you're returning, you know exactly how they work. I'm going to put the link in the comments from the outset. So if you want the opportunity to come in and share your thoughts, the link is going in right now. So just click it. I've got a full waiting room right now. So if you do want to come and have a chat and share your thoughts on the game, please do. And we'll see what comes of this. Pommy.
Oh, Jesus. That is... We were just talking off camera, me and Terry, and I hate to be that guy, but you know what? It is addictable, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's something exhilarating about that. I don't know if it's because I'm with you guys on the watch along, but there is something mighty special about that game. Just how I feel at the moment. But let's be honest, it was way short of our best. Like let's not even mince it. It was miles away from the levels we expect. But do you know what I mean? I don't know how they did it, but they found a way. We've got to thank the umpire there. A dissent free kick, but somehow it's 4 points.
When are we just going to start winning without needing to do? We just make it so hard on ourselves. I mean, in terms of the play, the opportunities we created, tick, still so many skill errors. I don't know how many times the entry kick inside 50 went wayward. I need to find the number, but considering how many times we still turned the ball over, it was something to be said to get that many scoring opportunities. But to only return, what was it? 9 goals 20. 9 goals 20. So look, it reminds me a little bit of situations in the past where I don't want to look back on this game and say, oh, you know, it's cost us. But listen, 4 points is 4 points. It's all about winning. We've got about 13 more to go or 12 more to go.
Mate, I mean, there's something about these boys when they travel interstate, isn't there? That they don't seem to free flow. I mean, I'm sure Voss will look the last 10 minutes of the second, the first 10 minutes of the third and go, what was it, 8 scoring shots for 1 goal, 7? I think he'll look and say, you know what, this should be. And there was a lot of St Kilda about that game, I felt, where they were creating chances at length. It was nice that George Hewitt invented a new kick as well. We see the chip kick that Pom complains about. He's just invented the long, loopy, floating chip kick, which was the first time I've punched my desk this year. My right hand is feeling the effects. But, I mean, they got the job done. Shout out to Nick Newman. He was beat once by Toby Green. Shout out to Cripper. He came up. The kick at goal might have taken the gloss off it, but apart from that, he was pretty solid. And Charlie Curnow, cometh the moment, cometh the man. And, you know, we'll analyse that game, and no doubt in the reviews, both of our reviews, we'll probably be critical. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. Was it effective? We got the win, but I do think if you look at the St Kilda game last year to this, somehow they found that way to win, and maybe a bit fortuitous, but they'll look back and that's 4 points that they don't have to lament. It's better to learn your lesson 4 points up than it is 4 points down.
Provided you learn the lesson. But yeah, no, I agree with that. There were parts of today early in the day where I thought, just go do a job, get the 4 points and get out of there. And in the end, it ended up being one of those situations. But yeah, something around the concentration and the focus when we did have those opportunities and just being able to stay present. Yeah, yeah,
You can
it's
analyse it a lot. I mean, like, credit to Voss, second half, he dropped the forward press, which was bizarrely the first time we got any tackles inside 50, but it did allow us to defend that transition. So he had to do that. The only issue with that is suddenly Harry and Charlie were playing centre half back and left half back, and poor Durden was full forward a couple of times. I was thinking of you, Terry, thinking, is Terry having flashbacks to Mickey Gibbons when he's the furthest forward? But I mean, in fairness, what can you say about that game? It was a poor performance. The boys will literally walk out of that game and go, shit, that was bad. Vossi's face at the end of that game, he looked livid. Do you know what I mean? When he realised the game was run, I did enjoy seeing him toss his microphone down because he knows that you've got to play better. The Roos have just been done by Hawks. They're going to be bitter. You know what Clarkson's like. He ain't going to be too chuffed with that. But this time next week, they've got the wonderful feeling. Do you remember St Kilda? And I ask every fan to remember this, how low we felt at St Kilda. You kind of felt like finals were slipping away. They've done the same thing, but they've gained the 4 points. So they can go in next week and learn the lessons, knowing they haven't damaged anything yet. So that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's good to see. Long way to go. Long way to go, though. But tell you what, if that is our worst performance and it wins 4 points, it turns me on a little bit.
Yeah, then so be it. And so be it. Yeah. Still very raw. I'll be honest, even when the Giants hit the front, I still had this underlying confidence that we'd get the job done and win the game. I did still feel that from them. But in these moments, like you're not guaranteed to be in these situations so often where you've got such dominance and you have so many scoring opportunities, and there's a lot of the season to play out. So I can't write this game off as one of those games where it's going to hurt us because the rest of the season hasn't happened. You can only really say that in retrospect. Yeah.
I think if anyone is saying percentage is important, I think, to be honest, you're a loser. A loser. That's a loser mentality.
Yeah.
You're not here to finish 8th. You're here to go as deep as you can. And the best teams don't sneak in 8. The best teams get there on points. Do you know what I mean? You look at percentage, it's separated the top 4 times in 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The big thing is getting points on the board. Do you know what I mean? I would have rather, and I'm sure you'd take it last year, you'd rather have 4 points against St Kilda than the kicking 2 points and getting over Dogs on percentage, wouldn't you? I would have done. Do you know what I mean? If you gave me that option. So for me, it was poor. It was poor. There's a lot of lessons to learn. Positives are winning. Do you know what I mean? Positives are winning. And
True.
How good's that? I've been here a lot of the times where we put positives and we're trying to find, Fisher's hair look nice. But that at the end of the day, they got the job done. I don't know how. I think we'll look back there and we'll say we don't know how, because Harry looked lost. Charlie looked lost at times. Do you know what I mean? Cripper had to stand up and have 41. Fisher went anonymous. A lot of players there will look at this game and say that wasn't our best game. But next week is a big thing. Do you know what I mean? A big thing. Kennedy to come back in, hopefully. That will straighten it out a little bit. And like I say, do you know what I mean? Go. Now it's about coming in next week, coming in raring and looking like a good football side.
Yeah. I tell you what, if anyone's going to get praised today, it'll be our defenders. Maybe not so much in the first quarter, but you mentioned Nick Newman earlier, but I think over the course of the first 3 games, we'll start to notice some trends, and I think our back 6 have a really solid synergy amongst them.
Mate, I agree. Newman was spectacular. Do you know what I mean? Akers again, spectacular, that role. Let's hope he's all right. Pitternet worries me because he dominated hit outs, but that first half, I think he managed to hit anyone in orange, which was bizarre. But I think the big thing for me is can't wait to rewatch that game. I am looking forward to rewatching that game because it's hard to get a big reel when you're shitting yourself for 4 quarters. But win's a win, do you know what I mean? They move on. Defense again. Feel bad talking about defence because I said it round one. We can't go anywhere if defenders are our best. But
Yeah.
a lot of work to do. And I'm looking forward to seeing us versus North because I'm pretty sure, based on Geelong, they'll come out firing. They'll come out raring because you could tell no one was happy with that performance. But
No.
Jesus Christ,
No,
I don't think I've seen that many behinds.
What were you like in the last few minutes? I wasn't watching the watch along, but like it was tense.
I'm going to be honest. My bum was twitching throughout that fourth quarter. I think when Charlie kicked that goal, when he turned to the centre bounce crew and was like, just throw it on my head. That's when I had confidence because I was begging for Charlie to do that round one, to try taking some ownership, some leadership, and he did. And I lost the plot, as I always do when Carlton win. Mate, I love winning. I'm going to say I love winning. And it's good to be commenting on a team. It's a privilege to have this position to talk about a team that wins because I've usually been here on tight losses, not tight wins. So, you know what? We wanted them to learn to win tight. They've done it twice now. So, Jesus, are they getting good at it?
Time will tell. Time will tell. We'll put this one in the back pocket. Fab messaged me after the game and said, burn the tape. I think that's a pretty good summation. Burn the tape, maybe watch it a few times, then burn it, and let's not speak on it ever again.
Mate, I mean, at the end of the day, if that's part of our learning, it's part of our learning, innit? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, these boys have got to keep winning. If they're going to be any good, they've got to keep winning.
Yeah.
And we said it in our previews, wasn't really bothered about the score, and maybe Voss listened to me. Do you know what I mean? Bothered about the score, just get the game. But next week, it's about looking better again. So hopefully it is what it is, isn't it? But anyway, shout out to Chat, you're all legends in my book. Shout out to Mrs. Pom, because I reckon I would have died if she didn't bring that cup of tea with 10 minutes to go. The cup of tea got me over the line.
No, well said. Pommy, we'll see you next week, mate.
See you next week. Love you all.
Young Zach Borg. You're on mute, my friend.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Hey, sorry, mate. I must have Macca's if it's a bit too loud.
That's okay. I can hear you loud and clear. What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm on 1%, so I'll be quick. Absolute great win by the boys. I'm really proud, but I can't kick straight. It was hopeless. And here's my dad.
Hello, Dad.
Anyway, hold on, Terry. Hold on.
All right, Zach. We got to move on, mate. We can't wait for you. Chris.
How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Good to be back on. Haven't
Good
been
to
on
see
since
you
last
again.
year.
Good to see you again. After I don't know, what'd you make of that? It's a win, but what'd you make of it?
Man, I'm actually happy with that, and I know everyone was frustrated. I was watching the watch along with Pommy, and look, it's frustrating, man. But I'm looking for those little bits of improvement in terms of mentality, and I was really impressed with the last 5 minutes. Our mentality to attack the Giants, not just sit back and absorb and actually go at them. And you can see, like, in the first half of the fourth quarter, you could see Carlton were just like sitting back and letting GWS hold the possession like we used to, which is just inviting them to attack you. That's all it does. But you can see in the last 5 minutes, they've learned to kind of they practice it probably over the preseason and actually go out and attack them. And you could see in that last 5 minutes, GWS couldn't move the ball. They just stopped, they turned the ball over, and they freaked out. And you could see the difference. And you could see from round 23 Collingwood, right, we're in front and we're defending for the last 5 minutes. But this game, we actually went out and attacked in the last 5 minutes, and you saw the difference. We actually went out and we won by an extra goal. And that's what I'm looking for, like those little bits of improvement. Obviously, we know the problems, right? And they know the problems right now. The skill execution isn't good enough sometimes, and some little mistakes. But at the start of the year, it's not going to be perfect. But I'm looking for those little things that, when it comes to finals time, we can actually use, and things like that. You can actually use that in finals and stuff. That's a sustainable way to attack a game in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's almost like a free lesson in tight, even though we didn't need it to be that tight. We definitely could have put that game away. It's such a weird one because definitely generated enough opportunities. I think even our kicking D50 to midfield was okay, but mid to forward, that's good. That has to improve, and it will. I hope. And once that does, it gives us a clue as to the scoring power that we really do have. Because when you think about it, like Charlie obviously kicked a couple, kicked the sealer. Harry didn't kick. Harry really hasn't had a massive impact on the scoreboard. A lot of the smalls kicked goals today. It was a smalls game, and we still were able to generate 29 shots. Some of them were rush behinds, but yeah, something to move forward with for sure. And you're right. I mean, we're talking about a win. It's 2 wins and a draw from 3 games. We just keep ourselves in the hunt.
Exactly. And I think there's a few players out of form as well in our team,
Yep.
and we're kind of carrying them at the moment. But good teams carry players out of form and try to work them through. Obviously, it's impossible to have every player on form all the time, every week. It's impossible. They're going to go out of form, they're going to do stuff like that. Obviously, that's when, Michael Voss has to think about rotation or whatever kind of stuff. But you can see that at least we're getting wins in when we're not exactly playing well. And last year, we had to play over our expected to win. Like we had to play better than probably that we actually were to win. And now you can kind of see that bottom level is just slightly improving. Last year it was really bad. Like when we were bad, we were really bad. But you can see like it's just starting to creep up a little bit. The standards are rising, and that's all I can ask for really. It's not where it needs to be, but it's getting there, and that's all I can ask.
Fair call, mate. Fair call. Well, good to see you back, and
Thanks,
I
man.
look forward to doing this again.
Cheers, man. Have a good night.
You too, man. See ya. Adam from Arizona.
Hey Terry, how's it going?
It's good, man. It's very late for you right now.
It's only 1:30.
1:30. You stayed up. Love it.
Yeah, at work, so missed the third quarter driving home, but caught that full quarter. It's nice to see us pull that one out for once, or
Yeah.
the second time this season at least. So 4 points is 4 points. It was scrappy and ugly, and take those and burn the tape. So,
Take it. Take it and burn the tape. All right. What have you made of our first 3 weeks?
sometimes we look great. Sometimes it's pretty meh, and it's too early to call whether we're gonna be a finals team or not. I think we're good enough. We're definitely good enough, but still early. So
Yeah. How much of today did you watch? Just the fourth?
I cut the first half and the fourth
Oh, yeah.
quarter, and yeah, it's good. It was good
Yeah.
to see us win it. It was good to see us play scrappy and win scrappy as well. So GWS is I think that was kind of their game plan, was to be scrappy against us, try to make us play bad, and it worked for them in certain parts, but we overcame it, and that's what you like to see.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely took it to us. That's for sure. They definitely didn't play with fear. So,
No.
mate, we move on. We take the 4 points, take our second win of the season, and hope for a more clean execution next week, Friday night. Good Friday game.
Of course. So, yeah, I'll be back
Awesome.
for that one. So,
All right, man. We'll see you then.
good to see you, brother.
See ya. Jimmy.
Terry, how you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know how. I think, like, we've seen that emotion and that feeling of a game before. Or something I haven't experienced before. I think Pommy mentioned it earlier, the St Kilda game late last year. I think it was 10 goals 17 or 9 goals 17 or something like that. So I remember it, and obviously we didn't win that game.
Yeah.
So are you glass half full? Are you glass half empty? I mean, it's 2 wins and a draw from 3 games. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still a little concerned. I'm still not convinced, mainly because the Cats have obviously lost 2 on the trot. I saw Richmond's performance against Collingwood last night. I'm not convinced. I'm not really sold on them just yet. And we just struggled today big time. Let's just say, Lady Luck was on our side tonight. That descent call turned it for us at the end. Legitimate or not, I don't know the exact details behind it, but it worked out for us. But yeah, I'm now really focusing on next Friday's game, because against a team like North Melbourne in the state they've been in, you would think we should be able to put them away. And if we struggle next week, I think it's going to be another long season ahead of us.
I think it's going to be a long season either way. They just make it difficult. They make it difficult. It just shows where we're at. Like we're on the way. There's no doubt about it. We're on the way to somewhere. Where it ends up remains to be seen. But against these really top quality sides, like that type of kicking, we're going to be punished a lot more for it. To be fair, the Giants did punish us for it, but just not as much as what these really good sides will.
Yeah, but had that been a Collingwood today in the same conditions, they would have punished us big time. So it'd be interesting to see where things go. Whether Akers is all right to play next week, because he was nursing something in the shoulder, I think, today. I was fearful of McGovern wasn't going to get back up again as well in that first quarter. So at first it started to look like we were going to start losing a few players early on. So luckily it wasn't too bad. But
yeah, I mean, so we'll lose Owies. That looks like we'll definitely lose him. He looks like he's done a hamstring, which is disappointing because he obviously kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. Akers, something's up with his shoulder from the first few minutes of the game, but he battled it out. So
he did.
To watch this space, Lockie O'Brien comes on, and I remember thinking, all right, Lockie, this is really an opportunity here to show a little something. And if we need to rest Akers next week, we can think about it. So there's Akers' issue, which we'll talk about. And then, McGovern. I actually think I came on the watch along at halftime, and I was talking to Pommy about it. And I saw the collision, and I'm thinking, again, here it comes. But the fact that he was able to get up, go again, I don't know. I got a feeling it's going to work out for us in the positive for him, and his body's almost been tested out. So, yeah,
that's a good thing. So it was a pretty scrappy match tonight. So we'll see what they can pull out next week. But I hope Voss really gives it to him this week, just to give him a bit of a wake up call around it.
Yeah, back at Marvel next week. Dry conditions suits us a little bit more, I think. And I think we'll need to see how they respond next week and continue on. And then all of a sudden we've got a month of footy under our belt. Have you picked up on anything in the first 3 weeks, high level?
I think Jay Sauce is going to make an impact soon. I think he had a good game tonight. I would say he was in our top 5 at least tonight. And I think Harry's, I don't know, he's been sort of like simmering there, and he just hasn't had that burst game yet. And I've got a feeling he's going to burst out one game and really make a show of it. The only thing that kind of worries me is this constant Harry and Charlie going up at the same time type of deal.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of, I don't know, they're competing for this common medal between the two of them.
Yeah, it's not something that they have been doing too often. It seems to start to creep into what we see. It just tells me that they're not fully on the same page with their positioning. Also, the way we kick the ball in, back to that today as well. Back to long and high and on top of their head instead of out in front of them. Maybe that was the instruction because of the conditions. It was a bit groggy. It was a bit slippery from what they were saying on the broadcast. But we've got to be a lot more efficient than that. It's not like we didn't have clean entries and didn't have the opportunity to have clean entries.
Yeah. So as long as I go back and review this and try and tweak it out a bit and make up some mistakes, we've got the 4 points, so that's the main thing. So I mean, I guess if we keep winning, then there's no issue with percentage, but percentage will come into it at some point.
No doubt.
So that's the other thing we've got to look at.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyways, enjoy the weekend, Terry.
Yeah, enjoy the game, enjoy the win, and see you next week.
See you, mate. Have a good one.
See ya. Jim.
Mate, fuck. That was hard to watch. Very hard. What do you think about Voss tonight and the way he coached after quarter time?
The way he coached? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think.
Yeah. I thought he made some very, very.
You thought he made some what? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I think maybe there's a bit of lag. I thought he made some very good moves after quarter time. I felt like the Giants were told to keep the ball live. Clearly, they were playing on through the corridor, killing it. And I felt like if we played the whole game on those terms, we were going to lose today. I feel like Voss actually won us 4 points today. After quarter time, the game became a lot slower. Didn't look like a Carlton game at all, but it didn't look like we took away, I think, their best asset. And I think big thank you to Voss for that. The way I saw it, at least. Obviously, bad kicking is bad football, but we could easily have had that game done at 3/4 time. And we would have enjoyed that last quarter and be talking about this game a lot more different. But because we were so putrid in that third, just wasteful, I feel like we're going to look at this negatively because we should have better expectations as fan base now as well. Like, to not just be satisfied with that win. I mean, look, I am happy with the 4 points. We would have lost that game under David Teague. I'm very, very sure of that. So that's why I think I personally very grateful to have a coach like Michael Voss today, and a leader like Cripper who looked like he went up another level without just the action, but with his vocal ability. I was just watching him. You could see he was screaming at blokes on the telly today. Like, he had a bit of a mean streak in him. And I feel like that maybe got us over the line as well. I don't know. But I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, mate. No, I think you make some really good points. I'm just thinking of certain moments, especially with Cripper's body language. He really looked to ignite the fire. I actually thought Tom De Koning's game in the ruck was solid as well. I liked what I saw from there. But yeah, we definitely got it back on our terms. Definitely closed up the game as well and got it on our terms after quarter time. I think the Giants had a few patches here and there, and then obviously in the fourth quarter, everyone's just going for it and going for the win. And we still were using the corridor, which was pleasing to see. Yeah, I just look at this from an execution standpoint as to what's got to improve considerably, because we were on the right end of that one today. But there's nothing worse than when you've outscored your opponent in a sense of scoring shots on goal. There's nothing worse than when you are dominant with your scoring shots and lose the game. So it wasn't to be today. We didn't have that situation today. So I'm grateful for that for sure. But yeah, there's a few things there on the execution which I'm a little bit worried about us in the sense of it just has to improve.
Yeah, I agree. I had flashbacks of the St Kilda game thinking, it's happening again.
Yeah.
We dropped this game and we're just going to dominate them on paper.
Yeah.
But to their credit, they lifted just when they needed to in the fourth. Charlie, that is an absolute clutch goal. That is phenomenal to kick that. I just feel like, and that free kick, I don't care. I don't want to hear about that either. I know the media are going to roll Carlton all week and that poor umpire, but all right, I don't like to send free kicks either. That's not good. But in my opinion, Harry didn't have the ball. Would have been a free kick. It was a shit advantage call anyway. So it all evens out in the wash there, I think, anyway. But I don't really care. But I think, Voss, thank you. That's all I'll say. Leave it at that. It's going to be a wicked fan cams to watch because we're going to have 50-50 splits on this all night.
I think we will too. All right, man. Thanks for joining.
Take it easy, mate. See ya.
Stephen with the 8 says, "Why so slippery up there? Also, what's up with Blaker's shoulder?" Yeah, I would like somebody to answer that as well. If you were at the game, it's very slippery. They even mentioned it on the broadcast as well at halftime. Seemed to be really slippery. Didn't seem to rain though. Maybe it was raining earlier in the day. I did catch some of the VFL as well. It was a bit. It seemed just grey and wet and just a typical game at Giant Stadium. So I'm not sure about that. And as for Blaker's shoulder, we'll find out. It's a positive. I think that he played out the game. I think that's a big tick. Thanks very much, Maddie. So we'll just have to wait and see what the diagnosis is. All right, moving on. Zach, are you here?
Hey, what's up, Terry? How you going?
Where are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the car. Can you see me?
Call me back when you've got some light. I'd like to see you. All right. I need to be able to see you guys if you do come on. That is one requirement. Billy.
Terry, brother, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Stressful. Sitting on the end of the couch, mate. That was it was a tough watch.
It was a tough watch, mate. It was painful. It's like I knew we would. I had this confidence that we'd win the game, even when we were behind. Yeah. But just they tested it. They really tested it.
They did. Yeah. I like to see it when Jesse Motlop got put through the midfield. You know, give that spark of energy as well. You know, he's a real quick, explosive player. That's what we need in the midfield. Cripps, you know, he's a bit slow, but I mean, he played fantastic today. Like incredible, he played. So I'm a big fan of Jesse Motlop through the midfield. And Blake Acres, I was going to say, he played incredible after that shoulder injury, and I want to know what happened to that because he's probably in doubt next week against North Melbourne, and he's a very important player.
Yeah, very important player. 6-day break, playing on Friday night. I do think it's a big positive that he was able to finish the game, but you can just tell he's going to be sore, and I don't know what that means for next week, but yeah, you can just tell something's not 100% there.
Also, I wish Owies, I wish he stayed in the game because he was on track to kick about 10 goals, I tell you now. But well, he's missing next week, isn't he, as well?
I would say so. If he's come off with a hamstring, I think it's at least a couple of weeks. Don't know how serious it was. I didn't even actually see it. Did you?
No, I didn't. And I just they cut to the bench and he was on ice or something. So it's strange, interesting. I mean, it's unlucky, I guess, for him.
Yeah. What were the other storylines of the game from your point of view?
Harry looked a bit he looks real flat up forward. I mean, when Harry and Charlie both gone for those marks, I mean, a bit of communication or something. And I guess, I mean, not all Harry's fault, but the delivery to Harry wasn't on point. There was a stage, I think, in the third quarter. I don't know who kicked it. It was behind Harry. He's a big bloke. He can't move to the side and whatnot. But I guess that's something they need to work on, I guess, in training.
Yeah, no doubt. What have you made of the first 3 weeks?
Very interesting. The draw. I mean, I was there, and I never been to a draw before, and that was just I didn't know what to do, standing there around. The Geelong game was a boost of confidence, I think, for the squad. I mean, to beat a reigning premier is always, it's good for the team. And then now against the Giants, I guess, to get it done, I guess, in wet, slippery conditions, injuries, tired players, sore bodies, you can't complain. Take the 4 points, and I guess we're undefeated at this point, so I have no complaints. So, yeah,
love it. All right, mate. Good to see you again,
brother. See you, mate. Take it easy.
You too. Bye, Zach.
Hey, Terry, Zach. What's going on? What's going on,
good,
Terry?
Mate. How are you? You're up and about. You there?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, it was a good win. We scraped it out, and it was really good. But I'm really concerned about our kicking. We can't kick. We're just a bit off about that.
Something's up.
Hello,
we're not focusing. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not. Who do you think your standout player was today?
Nick Newman. That was my standout player for today.
Who do you think your standout player was? Yeah. Nick Newman was good. And for me, I reckon it was Doherty off halfback. He was amazing. He got a really good amount of disposals for a defender. He was so good. That kick from 51 meters out was so good. He's doing it like he always does it. and I'm just so happy we got the win. But we've got to back it up against North, and yeah, that's good. We
Yeah.
did well. So
Yeah.
anyway, Terry, thanks for getting me on. Go the Blues, and we're
Go
going to
the
get it
Blues,
done next
mate.
week.
See ya. Damien,
How are ya?
what's going on, man?
What the fuck was that? That was one ugly game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Didn't
That
need
was-
to be. It did not need to be that ugly. It's not like it was pissing down rain. It didn't need to be. I think we made it a little bit harder than what we needed to.
That was just like that was ugly to watch, mate. That was ugly to watch. I was nearly just pulling my hair out, like just waste the footy, and like I don't know. I felt some parts of the game we weren't running hard enough backwards. And I think it was Riccardi, number 26. I reckon he took 3 or 4 marks about 30 meters out with no one even in the picture of the tally. Like, it's like, do we man up enough?
There were a few holes early on, for sure, no doubt about it. Especially off the rebound. They really punished us off transition early on in the game, and they were finding players open. It didn't look like we were well organized early on, and then they did switch on somewhat. But yeah, it's one of those situations where they probably have some level of confidence that they're a better side, and they've got to learn how to deal with that expectation.
But as everyone said, we'll take the win, of course.
Yeah.
And like, if we probably look back, like we played 3 games now. We've played the reigning premiers. We've played Richmond, who were probably one of the informed teams going into the finals last year. They unfortunately lost by a kick against Brisbane, and we played an interstate game, which is our issue at times going interstate. So I guess we'll take 2 wins and a draw out of that against pretty good teams. Like GWS aren't as bad as what we originally thought at the start of the year. So I am happy that we're on 10 points. But there's still a lot to work on in there.
Tell me about it. Somebody made a comment which makes a lot of sense. 2 years ago, we're doing these fan cams, absolutely devastated. So a bit of perspective. Obviously, we're talking about a win, and we're talking about how we want to win by more and how we should have been better and should have been more efficient. So yeah, it's just one of those ones we move on from as quickly as we can.
With Blake Acres, I don't know if to think anything of it, but Lana went to the game today in Sydney.
Yeah.
And she was telling me before the match started, in the warm-up, he went into the club rooms. So he might have, I don't know exactly, but he might have had an issue with it maybe pre-game. So I'm not sure what it was, but maybe he went in with a niggle, and maybe they thought he'd be all right. But he was still courageous. He was absolutely courageous and ran the game out, and just he was actually one of our best players, if you ask me.
Yeah. I thought he battled it out. That was a brave performance from him. He was clearly struggling. I think the big moment for him was he went for the spoil after he had already hurt the shoulder and sort of landed awkwardly on it, but he made the commitment to go. So
yeah,
that
and
sort of stuff gets rewarded.
He got crunched a couple of times too after he went off and came back on. I noticed, but he just kept fighting on. That's what you got to do, don't you? And both. Sorry,
go for it.
There's a big problem there with Lockie O'Brien in there.
I think there's a problem there with a couple of them. O'Brien, Fisher, Mackay. There's something off with them.
Especially Harry too. I love Harry, as you know, but
yeah,
I don't know. He seems lost this year. He really does.
Up the ground, he's a good outlet. Takes a strong mark and he clears it up. But maybe he just needs a game to get going. Maybe it's next week. But yeah, I have a bit of concern around Lockie O'Brien's impact. Zach Fisher have concern around his impact and his, I don't know.
He's another player I thought that just nowhere to be seen, and a couple of moments where he just like waited for the ball to just come to him, like attack the ball, like if that's Cripper just tacks it, You know what I mean? And yeah, players on that fringe like Lockie O'Brien, like this was his chance playing 3 quarters today. This was his chance to say, hey, I want that position. But to me, he doesn't look like, hey, he wants to put his hand up and say, I want to be the man. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it just doesn't seem interested to me. But I might be wrong. It doesn't mean that's how he's feeling, but it just looks like that from afar,
Yeah.
It does.
Fair. Well,
Yeah.
early night for us tonight. We're not talking until 1 o'clock in the morning. So enjoy the rest of your night, mate, and hopefully we get a better showing next week.
And watch out Kangaroos next fucking week. Come on, the Baggers. We'll be sweet. All right. See you, mate. Have a good
See you,
one.
mate. You too. Toby.
Terry, how are you, Matt?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. But I thought our kicking tonight was not great. We need to work on that. 9-20. Oof. If we do that against North next week, and look, Terry, they've played some good footy so far. If we do that, I'm kind of like a bit panicky.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. They're coming off. They weren't too flash today either, North. So yeah. But before we get to North, what were some of the standouts for you today? Because there were a few good stories today.
Look, I'll say Doherty. I thought Doherty's bomb. Oh my God, is he like before the game? Does he just go, "Oh yeah, I'll go practice some long shots"? Because he's 2 that he's kicked this year. Holy crud! Long bomb Doherty. Hello.
It's become a trademark for him, hasn't it?
It sure has. And it's magnificent.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, he stepped up when he needed to. He has. Yeah, I thought he's an interesting one. He generates a lot of the ball. I took notes today because I was watching it from home. He turned the ball over quite a few times in dangerous areas, and you get frustrated, and then he seems to make up for it because of the volume of his possession tally, and he gets himself in dangerous positions and wins a lot of the ball. But yeah, he's another one. Just he's not alone. They've got to clean up their disposal by foot.
Oh, we do. It's like when we turn it over on quick turnover as well.
Yeah.
Pommy's right. That hurts us because then they go and score and then we go, oh, really? How do we respond? Because we look like we can't get out of the middle either. We just need somebody. I can't wait until Walsh comes back. Oh, fuck. Because when he comes back, our midfield, like,
it adds a bit.
What could be better? Him, Cribber, the hard ball guys who go and get the footy, put the head over the contest, and don't be afraid to go get it. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's true. Are you confident about next week?
Look, I'll be down at South Gippsland watching, and I'll say yes, but we need to work on stuff. Need to improve.
Well summarized. Thanks, Toby.
See you, Taz.
See you, mate. Paolo Sebastiani.
Hello, sir.
How you going?
Very well, mate. Very well. Yourself?
We're undefeated. Two wins and a draw. It's just one of those. Put it away and take your 4 points. But also mindful of knowing what the past has shown and how much it comes back to bite you if you don't address certain things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know yet how I feel about the game.
No, I'm happy with it. Expected a bit of a closer one than I think most expected. I think I tipped us by about 7 points, something like that. So, I think we adjusted okay after quarter time. I thought our first quarter was deplorable, really. Defensively, I thought we were a mess, and we fixed that up after quarter time. Second and third quarters were pretty good. I think third term we had them where we wanted them. Just the execution is what really let us down. And can you forgive that with the conditions? Maybe. I think so. It was just one of those dog ugly games that you just go into and just hope you get the 4 points and you wriggle away from it. So, and that's what the best teams do. That's what the champion teams do, by hook or by crook. They might not be playing at their absolute optimum level, but you just need to get the job done. So, and that's what it's about. That's what the best teams do. They go out, they get the 4 points, they recover, and they come back home. So, yeah, I'm a happy boy, happy chap.
No, spot on. Yeah. Look, got to be happy the fact that we won the game. A lot of people are referencing St Kilda late last year, very similar in the way that we used the ball, and that was under the roof, dry conditions. I think that third quarter, if you look at it from a gameplay point of view, totally dominant, but 5 behinds from 15 entries. So that'll you would think that'll improve. You would think under the roof as well. Next week that'll improve. The conditions definitely suit the way we want to play, and we're yet to play a game under the roof this year. So it's a wee move. It's definitely a wee move.
Oh yeah, I think that's going to make an appearance all year. That's what it's all about. You go in, get the 4 points, and move along. So I think it was a game where, look, I mean, the obvious big fella stood up. I thought Cripps was enormous, and Pommy said all week it was the game that was really set up for him with the conditions and the type of midfielders that they have there, and with Pitternet and Hewitt in there to really not help him out, but just aid his game. It's not they are helping him out to a certain extent, but I think they really fuel his game, those two, so we can get to work and get on the offensive. It was a similar game, and not to use a soccer analogy or anything like that, but Arsenal played Leeds earlier in the season, and they played at Allen Road away from home, and Arsenal were just not at the races. We went up 1-0 and held on for dear life, and they were in control for patches, but just needed to get the job done, and Arsenal ended up doing that 1-0. Very, very similar game. Very similar game, where GWS probably fluffed a few chances, so did we. And I thought probably the 3 blokes that really stood out to me are blokes that, well, Jack Silvani, I thought was magnificent today. I thought his game was fantastic. If he was on the chopping block leading into this game, I think he's definitely put his hand up to say, I ain't going anywhere. So, and that's the thing too. And you know how sick I am of seeing him in the ruck, because I think that his best role is what we saw with him today, hitting up off the high half forward flank, getting up the ground, providing those leads, providing those hit-ups, providing the outlet. I thought he was clean and good under pressure too, when everyone was fumbling and slipping over and turning the ball over and dropping marks. I thought he really stood tall. I thought he was good today. Love Nick Newman's game. He just continues to toil away without getting any accolades or any mentions from the press, and I don't think he really cares about that, to be honest. He just goes out there and does his job. Toby Green was very, very quiet, aside from that goal. But and Blake Acres, hope, fingers crossed, nothing comes out of that shoulder. I mean, to get through the game, I guess that's a positive sign, I would say. But he was really, you could tell he was labouring, but it was a brave performance from him. I thought he was great.
Yeah. Got to touch on Nick Newman again. You're one of only a couple to really mention him this week.
Yeah.
Joey Adamo put him in the spotlight as well. His job today. And Toby Green's the prototype forward that hurts us. That small, medium, powerful type that hurts us. And defenders don't really get recognition on Brownlow night. But if you really look at that, Nick Newman might have been best on ground.
Yeah, mate. Well, it's not really a defenders and forwards medal, is it? But
No.
I think he just goes out there and does his job every week. It's a 6 to 7 out of 10 performance.
Yeah,
he's a nice user of the ball. He's cool and calm under pressure, which I think it's a bit of an undersold facet of his game. I think he's got that knack of sort of stepping through trouble and just finding a mark as well when we need it to. So McGovern as well had some nice moments. I think he's starting to find his feet, which is great. And the back line had to step up under some duress again today. I thought I was chatting to Pommy just before, our forward press in the first quarter, dearie me, just God almighty, good Lord. The way we concede from kick-ins as well. Jeez.
I don't know how it happens, and it happens so often. And today, especially in the first, 3 direct goals from D50 from the
Oh,
goal
mate, I
square.
just God. And it's not as though like it's coming from you've turned it over in a horrible spot. You get whipped out the back, and it's like, oh, geez, we've just been caught out of position. It's we've had time to get set, which is the frustrating thing. So, look, ultimately, all you can do is bank the 4 points, and that's what we did. So again, I think we will be much better set up next week. And you know how big I am on setup and the way your team structures up, the actual team that you have in, where you play, when you play, the conditions as well. We'll get back under the roof of Marvel Stadium next week, and that's usually a place where we excel with this team. So I think that inside 50 movement needs to clean up, and Harry needs to stop sooking it up. He needs to get up the ground, and he needs to stop standing flat-footed inside forward 50. And the two or three forwards that go up for the ball need to bloody stop going up for it together in the same spot. There needs to be some separation away from the key forwards, and we need to keep those blokes isolated. So those two really need to work on that synergy between each other, knowing when one has to go and when one has to stay back. So that's something that we need to work on too. And I thought Doc was enormous as well today. Loved this game. Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Friday. Oh, it's a 4:20 game, I think. That's it.
It is indeed, sir. Yeah, it's Good Friday football. Get down there. I'm expecting there to be a pretty good crowd, I think. All the wogs will have their fish and their pasta marinara on Good Friday with the family, and then they'll be straight to Marvel Stadium, I think. I know that's what I'll be doing. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're actually going to get. I hope we get a good crowd. I was actually hoping North Melbourne won today, so they went into the game undefeated too, and they'd actually get some fans there. But no, look, they're playing okay. They were a bit disappointing today, but I'm hoping. Hopefully, it's in excess of 40. I'd like for that to be the case. Nice build up Friday night or Friday evening football, and 2 words: we move.
We move. Paolo, have a good night, mate.
Enjoy. You too. SEN tonight. It's just Premier League show, so no talk back, but I'll be back on the airwaves Monday night. So I'll be taking all the phone calls and text messages throughout the night. So all the best, guys.
All right, mate. Take care.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Michael.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
I thought we were going to win that comfortably, so I was originally planning on just having a little rant about how shit Channel 7 is because the game wasn't on there and I can't afford KO at the moment, and since I live in Queensland, they only want to do Brisbane and Gold Coast games and all that, which is annoying. So I decided to do the watch along with Pommy, and one thing I did recognise was the chip kick to Lockie O'Brien thing. And yeah, I'm not satisfied with that game at all. At all. But since I didn't watch it, I think I can only go by the stats. Yeah, definitely a good position to be in.
It's a good position to be in when we're talking about not being satisfied with a win, considering where we've come from.
Yeah.
So,
definitely. Since I wasn't able to watch, I'm going to look at the stats, I think. And statistically, I'd say that Cripps and Doc look good, like with the 42 and the 39 touches. But at the same time, I think that's potentially a trend that might not be such a good thing. Because if you look back I was looking back at some of our losses late last year, like the loss against Adelaide, for example. Cripps and Walsh, like they both had over 40 touches. And to me, what that potentially says is it's more like they're going back to that focus of having 1 or 2 super talented people there and the rest just aren't able to pull away. Like, that's one thing I'm kind of concerned about. And also it's the accuracy as well. That's something I always thought about as well in all the 3 of the games this year so far, like Richmond, like Geelong, all that. Every time we got it behind, I felt like we should have kicked the goal. It was just frustrating.
Yeah. No, the accuracy thing, I think you're spot on. Although the other point you make, it's hard. it's hard because there were a lot of other contributors. I think Cripps' numbers were obviously massive. Doc as well. They're two great leaders of the club. They really lifted. Fair play to both of them. But I think we had a really even spread of other contributors around. Having said that, there were a couple of senior players. We mentioned them earlier that just couldn't impact the way we know that they have in the past consistently. I think O'Brien, Fisher, and Harry were the three that came up earlier who just weren't able to really impact the game as well as what we know they can. So,
yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Harry in regards to goal. Like, I think if he's like having if he's not happy with his goal kicking and like he doesn't feel confident with that, I think what he should be thinking about instead is like where I've seen him shine is where he takes the crucial marks in the middle, like around about the wing area. I've seen that. Like I saw that in Richmond and Geelong. I think if he can't get goals, he should just try to focus on that for now. What was it? Another thing I was going to say. Kerno with the three behinds. That was definitely something I was a bit disappointed about at the first half. That's for sure. Let's see.
we'll leave it there,
I'm
mate.
pretty happy with. Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. See ya. All right. We have an open waiting room right now, so I'll make a last call. But I kind of get the feeling we just want to get on with it, take the 4 points and run. There's not too much more to talk about. I think we've highlighted the key plays there. Another step forward for the two rucks. I think another step forward for Tom de Koning tonight overall. So I think we move on from that. Take the 4 points. We're now at a stage where we've come from a point where every win was so important. Every single opportunity was so important, and they still are. And we seem to be a little spoilt for talent now and spoilt for where we are. You know, only 2 years ago we're sitting here drowning our sorrows in how poor they were away and how we couldn't win away from home. Whereas now we're talking about we probably should have won that by a bit more. So I don't know. I think the more I think about it, and over the last hour, I've realized it's a win, and we need 13 or 14 minimum of them. So they're not all going to be pretty. I guess I'm a little scarred from last year and looking back at what if and what could have been and what should have been. But at the end of the day, it's a new season. It's a whole new story. And yeah, there are teams this year that are playing totally different to the way they were last year. So we're undefeated, not getting too ahead of ourselves. I wouldn't have thought. Still a lot that we've got to clean up, and hopefully we do that before next week. So thanks for tuning in. That's the fan cams. Short and sharp, to the point. Take the 4 points, 2 wins, 0 losses and a draw. Review will be out. Player ratings, we're going to do it live tomorrow, probably tomorrow evening at this stage, 6 or 7 o'clock. I'll let you know. We'll go through them individually. For those who haven't joined the player ratings, we do them live now. So you can come in and have your input and make sure that my scores aren't too inflated because I do get carried away sometimes. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good night. See you next week. Go Blues.